So you've decided to buy a Razer Blade because they are great gaming and productivity laptops without being hulking monsters. But the biggest decision that I think most people have to make is what size is right for me. So in tonight's video, we're going to be looking at the 14-inch, the 15-inch and the 17-inch to help you decide which of the sizes could be right for you. Now in this video, I'm not going to be focusing on pricing because each of these laptops comes in a varying range of configurations that would be very difficult. But in general, the 14-inch is the cheapest of the three and the 17-inch is the most expensive of the three. But we're going to assume that you've got deep pockets if you're going to be buying one of these laptops anyway. Now the first thing we're going to be focusing on with these laptops is the size, because that is really the biggest differentiating factor between them. Now, if you look at each of them individually, they all look pretty much the same. They are just a little black box with the sort of the Razer logo on the top. But obviously there's quite a lot of difference between them. Now clearly you can see here between the three that the 14-inch is the smallest, but the size on this desk doesn't do it justice. The 14-inch is really a very compact laptop that's very easy to grab and throw in a bag and go. It's also the best of the three to put on your lap and use either on a car, in a plane, a train, anywhere where you actually want to use a laptop as a laptop. But of course, the small 14-inch size does have its disadvantages. It's got a 14-inch screen in this laptop. And although the 14-inch screen is very good, it comes with either 1080p or the QHD panels, and the QHD is an absolutely amazing panel. When you're playing on this laptop screen, maybe gaming, I do find it a bit more difficult on this 14-inch screen than any other laptop I've tried gaming on, just because 14-inch is very difficult to pick out characters or targets in the distance on such a small screen. Now moving up to the 15-inch, you can see it's not that much larger than the 14-inch laptop, but you get an extra 1.5 inch of screen real estate. But I have to be honest, despite not looking much bigger than the 14-inch, this is certainly a lot more cumbersome to carry around than the 14-inch in day-to-day use. So you won't be using this as many confined spaces as you would say as a 14-inch laptop. But the 15-inch is a good jack of all trades because that extra 1.5 inch of screen real estate really does make it much easier to game or use the machine creatively than the 14-inch laptop. So I'd say if you're moving around a reasonable amount and you want a laptop on the go, this is probably for most people the best option. The 14-inch is really for someone that does need that portability above pretty much all else. The 15-inch I would say is the right laptop for most. And on this 15-inch we still get a great 1080p, QHD and also a 4K option for this screen. And all of the screen options, in fact all the screen options on all of these laptops look fantastic. Now moving up to the 17-inch Razer Blade, I have to be honest, I would call this more of a portable computer than a laptop. Because let's be honest, using a 17-inch laptop on your lap is very cumbersome and difficult. You certainly wouldn't want to be using this on a plane or a train. You can see straight away from here, it's much bigger, thicker and heavier than the other two laptops, making it very, very cumbersome. But if you're a person that is just moving from the odd desk to the desk, providing you get a good laptop backpack or bag, it's very easy to transport and set up. And once you do, you're getting the best performance of all three of these machines. Not only for the fact that you're getting a 17.3-inch screen, which makes it much easier to use, especially for gaming on the actual screen itself, but being so much thicker and bigger, we're getting a bigger cooling system in this machine as well, which leads us on nicely to the actual internals and the features of each of these laptops. And again, I'm going to start at the 14-inch. Being the most compact laptop, this 14-inch has had to make some compromises to make this work in this 14-inch chassis. And to start with, it comes with a Ryzen CPU in this machine. Now there's nothing wrong with Ryzen CPUs, they are more efficient and you will get better battery life with this laptop, which is perfect for a 14-inch, but they're not quite as powerful as the 15-inch and the 17-inch Intel models. And also, as well as the Ryzen CPU, the RAM is soldered in this actual laptop, so you cannot upgrade, and the maximum you can configure is only 16 gigabytes, which is going to be an off-putting for quite a lot of people out there. And lastly, it's only got one M.2 SSD slot in this laptop, limiting its upgrade potential. Now, as we move up to the 15-inch, being obviously larger than this 14-inch laptop, allows us more features internally. That means we're going to get an Intel CPU with a higher wattage limit, which you're going to need for that Intel CPU. The graphics cards, they all have the 3060, 3070 and 3080 available for each of these machines, or the TIs, but we have a slightly higher power limit on the 15-inch over the actual 14-inch. It's not a massive amount, it's about 5 watts on the 15, but it certainly makes a difference. And also we get 2 upgradable RAM slots with this 15-inch and 2 Generation 4 M.2 slots for the SSDs, making it a much better option for upgrades. And as we move up to the 17-inch, internally, like the 15-inch, we're going to get the Intel CPU, we get 2 upgradable RAM slots and 2 Gen 4 M.2 slots for the SSDs. But the biggest difference over the 15-inch is the bigger cooling system. Now that allows us much more power to the CPU and the GPU, allowing up to 175 watts on the top-end GPU model with this machine, which none of the other machines can handle. So obviously that is where this 17-inch comes into its own, and also why it's probably the most expensive of the three of these laptops. Now moving on to the ports between these three machines, and I have to say all three of these laptops have good port selections for the size of these machines. Now the 14-inch, being the most compact machine, does lose out on a few of the critical ports the others get. We get 2 USB-As, we get an HDMI 2.1, and we get 2 USB ports and the headset jack, as well as the power adapter, which for a 14-inch machine, that's a pretty good range of ports. The 15-inch, being Intel, we actually get Thunderbolt on these machines, which obviously we don't get on the Ryzen. The 15-inch machine and the 17-inch machine also get a full-size SD card slot, which makes it better if you are a content creator or a photo editor. We get an extra USB-A port, so both these machines have 3 USB-A. And also, the 17-inch, being the biggest and thickest of its own, also gets an Ethernet port. So overall, very slight differences between them all, but the 15 and 17-inch give the best range of ports. Want to quickly touch on battery life now. Now again, this will vary depending on how you use your laptop and what specification you get. But in general, the 14-inch, being a Ryzen CPU, they are the most efficient. You'll get much better battery life on this machine. And being that it's so portable, this is the machine you'd want that extra battery life on over most of the other machines. Then in second place, the Razer Blade 15. These have usually got pretty good battery life. Obviously not as good as the Ryzen, but you usually get about 5 hours of light use out of these machines. And then the 17-inch, unfortunately the battery is much poorer on this 17-inch laptop. You're looking probably about 3 to 4 hours of sort of light use on this heavy machine. But you're probably not going to be using a 17-inch bulky laptop like this on battery very often. And then the last comparison I want to make between these three laptops is the speakers. And again, it goes in size orders. The 14-inch has the thinnest sound. It's very okay for watching sort of podcasts and the odd YouTube video, but I wouldn't want to be listening to music. The 15-inch sounds slightly better, but not amazing. Whereas the 17-inch with this bigger chassis and extra speakers sort of drivers, this sounds by far the best. And if you want a good audio experience, this is the model you should choose. As we look to the decks of the machines, one of the interesting things you can see between each of these sizes, 14, 15 and 17, is that the keyboards are the same on each of the machines. That's something I like because whichever Razer you get used to, the keyboard's pretty much going to be the same. None of them have number pads and they're all centered. I like that on my laptops. The other difference you'll see between the three of them is as they get bigger, the touchpad gets slightly larger, but otherwise they're essentially the same. They've all got the speaker grills either side of the keyboard and they've all got a very similar layout. And all of these keyboards have the per key RGB that you would expect from a Razer laptop. So hopefully this will help you make a decision between the three of these laptops. But to sum up, if the 14-inch, if you're the person who wants the absolute most mobility out of your laptop, the best battery life, and you're not so bothered about the performance, this is the laptop to go for. It still games amazingly well, but sometimes it can be difficult on this 14-inch screen. Obviously, you could plug yourself in an external. The 15-inch, I would say this is the jack of all trades. This is probably the most popular model they sell because it's sort of the best middle ground. It's still great for content creation. The 15-inch laptop is a good size for most people, and you can choose a great range of Intel CPUs and NVIDIA GPUs, and it has a great level of performance. And lastly, we have the 17-inch, and this is the beast mode Razer Blade. It is bigger, it is heavier, it's bulkier, it has worse battery life, but once you set this laptop up and start using it, you can see the extra power that this machine has. And it also comes with better speakers, and obviously that bigger screen, which I think personally, if you're gaming on the screen, makes it much easier to game on. So hopefully this helps, and thank you for watching.